2022 AIC Innovation Forum. Innovation drives sustainable economy. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you today? Good. Do you know what's special about today? Earth Day. Wow, correct. Great answer. So welcome all of you, including our audience, joining online. This afternoon, American Innovation Center, AIC, one of the 6 American spaces in Taiwan, holding the annual Innovation Forum. I'm today's moderator, currently working at Techstars as executive director, driving startup ecosystem in Taiwan, as well as Japan, Korea, and APAC. Creativity, entrepreneurship, collaboration are the driving forces that overcome the global challenges. We are pleased to gather together international and local companies across all different sectors to do the open discussion and share new approaches and perspectives on sustainability. First of all, let's welcome Luke Martin, AIT's Cultural Affairs Officer. Luke Martin joined the Foreign Services in 2012 and has served as a vice consul in Manila and Brussels, as Assistant Information Officer at the US Mission to the European Union, and as Assistant Cultural Affairs Officer in Kabul. Where Kabul is? Do you guys have an idea? Capital of Afghanistan, correct, where he focused on educational exchange programs. Have you guys heard about the Fulbright program? It's a flagship international educational exchange program sponsored by US government. So it's our pleasure today having Luke joining to give us his opening remarks. Luke, the stage is yours.
Well, thanks everybody for coming, those of you that braved the physical world to be here, and those of you on Facebook, YouTube, or GatherTown. It's great that we're able to use this kind of hybrid technology to bring more people in because we wouldn't have space for everybody. This is one of the things that's, of course, changed with COVID is everybody's just more comfortable and familiar with different ways to communicate, but still at the end of the day, it's all about connecting, so I'm glad that we're here. First of all, I just wanted to say about this AIC, American Innovation Center. Since 2014, we've been offering this space, and it really was an innovative space in Asia, where traditionally, our American spaces were very library focused, so lots of books and lots of people sleeping in the corners, of course. But our goal with this was to really incorporate design, technology, and focus on STEM fields, knowing that really that's a way not just to reach the young generation, but to reach everybody. And I think this kind of is a great event to hold here because it's the spirit of what we're doing as well. The theme, of course, as you guys know, is innovation drives the sustainable economy. I was talking to my daughter the other day about what is her biggest worry in the world. And she says, it's not just my worry, but all her friends, it is about the environment and what is it going to be like in the future. And I think this pinpoints it really clearly is that it's innovative minds, it's these creative ways of getting together that are going to solve these really global issues of whether it's my American daughter or an Afghan daughter or someone in Taiwan. Everybody's got these concerns about how do we pull together to solve it. So maybe it's taking pineapple pulp and making shoes out of it. Maybe it's, reusing everything we do and reducing what we have. The way to come up with this, of course, is through innovative thinking. And I know that we've got designers here and we've got people in the forefront of this career. And I hope that online as well, that you're inspired by what you hear from some of these leaders that we have here today. So I wanted to definitely thank our esteemed group that's coming here as well. We've got Vincent Shi coming from Microsoft Taiwan. He's assistant legal counsel there. He also has, I think, the biggest resume of anybody in the world. It's like he does absolutely everything, which is great, from LinkedIn to American Chamber of Commerce, and he's very involved in the community and a very busy man, so it's an honor that you're here as well. We also have here Cindy Lin from Fubon Financial. And with Cindy, you focus on ESG as well, do you? So environment and social and governance. This is going to be a theme that you hear a lot. Cindy, thank you for coming in person as well and for representing Fubon. And then we're lucky that online that we have 2 others coming, one from Hong Kong and one from Singapore. So we have Jonathan Ho, who's coming from Allianz Global Investors, He's in Hong Kong, and he's a sustainability specialist. So thank you for joining us. And we also have Sarah Ong, who's coming from, she's in Singapore right now, and she's a senior manager of international sustainability. And she also works in ESG as well. So Sarah, thanks for coming, and thanks for representing UPS, talking about logistics and how we can be really efficient with that as well. So I think finally, this is a great opportunity not just to come and hear people that really know what they're talking about, talk about really important things, but also for making connections, because all of you have, these are all interconnected. Your work, your social life, your family, and I think making these connections online through GatherTown here is a great way for you to move forward in your own careers in education and figure out how can you also support this global sustainability initiative as well. So again, thanks, Rosa, and thanks all of you for coming today, for the organizers, and we're just grateful. So I think at this time, you are going to do a little intro and ask who's first to come up. So thanks, Rosa.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Great. Thanks, Luke. So today's first session starts with the topic, Breaking New Ground, Sustainability in Global Scale. We invited Vincent Shi from Microsoft Taiwan. So Vincent Shi is the Assistant General Counsel, yes, a long resume, of Microsoft and GM of Microsoft Taiwan, Corporate External and Legal Affairs, CELA in short. In addition to sitting in Microsoft Asia CELA leadership team, serving as CELA Asia Sustainability co-lead and supporting Microsoft GCR Marketing and Operation Group, he also served as Taiwan Branch General Manager for LinkedIn and chairperson of MChain Taiwan. So what a long list.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. So first of all, Vincent, could you give us a short intro about yourself and your role at Microsoft?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think, although the title might be a little bit long, but I think the key concept actually is trying to introduce the most advanced technology into Taiwan, and also partner with all our close partner and the customer, especially like AIC, our most close partner, to move forward with some most advanced or challenged issues that we will try to resolve through our technology and our platform. So community service and all this association. So you mentioned about CELA. CELA is actually the name of our department, Corporate External and Legal Affairs. Of course, the legal affairs is still very important for all the, especially from ESG, the governance part. But for the C and E part, C is actually corporate. So corporate governance and also a lot of ESG-related matters also under the corporate governance part. And the E, of course, will be the external part. External is just including the policy issue and also the association like MChain. And the third part is actually my favorite part. It's also directly related to ESG. And all the previously they called it CSR. Right now it's ESG. ESG is also a key pillar for all these missions that we try to move forward within my role here. Yeah.
Perfect. So could you talk about what are the Microsoft commitments in sustainability?
Yeah, sure. I actually prepared a deck. Let's see. Can you switch? Yeah, and the next page. Yeah, as you can see here, actually the sustainability journey for Microsoft is actually started almost more than 10 years. Starting from 2029, we already have started to calculate and see how we can reduce and start to digitize or try to track the carbon emission for the global operations. And then after about 10 years, in 2019, we already start to discuss what different model or what different pillars we should focus on sustainability. So as you can see from the deck here, the first announcement, of course, is focused on carbon. And then another pillar will be the water, and then the waste. And the last part is also the most technology-driven, is about we are building a planetary computer and trying to replenish and also ensure that our footprint and all our operation for the landfill is also comply and also fully support the sustainability role. And we have a very ambitious goal, actually. In 2019, the end of 2019, we already start to discuss and disclose the 4 different pillars. And in 2020, we officially kind of launched our sustainability effort or report. At that time, some media even say this is so ambitious. It's almost they use like a moon shooting project for this overall sustainability efforts. So the some specific milestone, including, as you can see from here, we have a specific milestone timeline and also a very transparent plan. In 2030 is the key milestone. We'll make sure we are all carbon negative and the water replenish, and zero waste is some key measurement for these three key pillars. And we have an even more aggressive goal. That's in 2050. 2050, we want to erase. So put it in a very simple way. Right now, we feel that carbon neutral is not enough. Carbon neutral probably is not enough to resolve all these pressing issues like Luke mentioned. We're all aware of that. So we set up an even ambitious goal, more ambitious goal to reduce all the carbon footprint that starting from 1975, from the day one of Microsoft, we will remove and recycle all this carbon footprint from in 2050s. So that's some key milestone. And in addition to that, 2025 actually is another more short-term goal. In 2025, actually, we also ensure and set a clear goal that for all our data center, we will all use renewable energy to comply with the IE 100 requirements. So for the next one, let's see. Yeah. I hope you can see some of the context there. This is a little bit busy deck, but I think the key concept I want to deliver is it's not just for our own commitment. We have a very clear commitment and we have a very clear timeline and plan. But the key is, we believe, is technology and the data is the backbone for all these efforts. And it's not just our own technology and our own data. So we are providing this technology and the data for all the partners and customers and try to empower. It's sustainability and the global climate challenge is definitely not single company, not a single industry, or even not a single government or country can easily resolve. It takes all the effort, it takes a community, it takes the whole global village to resolve this issue. So we try also, in addition to do our own homework, we also try to empower our customer and partners and leverage our technology. So including from the deck, including our own milestone, like the 2030 goal, and then we have an investment fund, like Rosa, you just mentioned that for the innovation investment is also key. So invest in technology and do our own homework and empower our customer and partner. And the last part, on the right-hand side, is of course like a good seminar or the good workshop like today. We also want to voice out and support the policy, both from the Taiwan and the US government toward the net zero goal for the sustainability efforts. So with all this, in the bottom part here is the 4 key pillars. So we do our own work, we invest in technology and innovation, and we empower our customer partner, and we supporting all the policy efforts on sustainability. So that's the basic of what we have done until today. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. A lot of things that you have accomplished. So I know when you mentioned carbon negative, water positive, and zero waste, I think it's really, really ambitious. Could you elaborate more why it is important?
I don't think I need to actually explain why it is important, because we all sit here.
Right.
Everybody sitting in this room, including all these guests from this morning. It's the Earth Day, and we all know how challenging it is. Especially we are discussing the 2.0 Celsius goal is not enough. We really need to also focus on 1.5. And all this effort, including the COP26, we all see all these major media discussions on that. And from industry perspective, I can tell that why it is important is not just from the industry-wise, it's a matter of life and death, not just for ourselves. Maybe in this generation, we probably could still survive. But how about our next generation, our kids, our grandchildren? They are living in the same earth I kind of like a verb or a describing from, I think from the indigenous elders. They said, we are not people are not owning this earth. We are just lending this earth. We are just using this earth. This earth belongs to all the earth, belongs to our next generation. So that's why it's so important, but it's also so challenging. That's why we also encourage and also invest 1 billion climate investment fund and try to promote and to try to find a more advanced technology to resolve these pressing issues.
Good point. I know Microsoft recently published the sustainability report. So could you share with us some key highlights?
Yeah, I'm glad to do that. And let's see if the deck will work. Yeah, so this one, this is we just announced. The timing is also perfect. We just published this 2021 Environmental Sustainability Report, I think 4 weeks ago in mid-March. This is the second year, actually. And you can see can find this report online. It's all transparent and open to the public. And some key highlights, in addition to what we have achieved in year one, we have published the similar report in 2020. That's a consolidation of our efforts for year one, starting from what I described, the moon shooting project starting from 2020. So this is a summary of the key efforts we achieved for last year, for the whole year of 2021. So the progress here, including that we already invest, and we commit that we have a 1 billion climate investment fund, and right now we already have invested and also contribute almost 571 millions of investment fund for dedicated focus on all the innovation and technology I just described. And for carbon part, last year we also already successfully to remove 2.5 millions of tons of carbon, and for water is 1.3 million cubic meters of the water replenish this water back to the nature, back to the environment. And for the waste, we are also very glad to share that we have already circulate and established and also certified the full zero waste data center. We all know that data center, there's a lot of devices and cable, a lot of things, a lot of devices within the data center. So for our zero waste commitment, we actually, can we back up a little bit? Yeah, here. So it's also a milestone. We already have 4 data centers already certified. It's not just what we say is zero waste. It's already certified by independent third party. All these components or devices in there is totally under the circular economy. There's no zero waste from this data center. And of course, from the ecosystem part, we also have more than 17,000 acres of land. It's already under our monitoring and also ensure that the land is going pretty well. And one thing I want to also highlight here is for the carbon. I think the carbon reduction or carbon neutralization is still the largest challenge for lots of the industries, including Microsoft, including high tech, and including manufacturing. So for scope 1 and scope 3, scope 1 and scope 2 carbon emissions, we are glad to share that for last year, although our revenue is increased almost 20%, but for scope 1 and scope 2, we successfully reduced all the carbon emissions for around 17%. So it's almost balanced for what we revenue increase, but we still managed to reduce the scope 1 and scope 2 carbon emissions. But the more challenging part will be the scope 3. I think a lot of experts will agree with me that for all the supply chain, for the scope 3 carbon emission is very challenging with all these data source and all this management. But we are glad to also report this year that we have more than 87% of all supply chain. This all scope 3 carbon emissions. They are already included into our reporting system, and it will be under the control and almost real-time monitor of all the carbon emission situation. So these are all the good progress we made for the last year.
Huge progress.
Yeah.
So how does Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability actually work?
Yeah. I think our deck already have a preview
Right.
the cloud for sustainability. Yeah, this is also a very good timing to share with, this actually also came from our own lesson learned from our own sustainability journey for collect all the data, like I highlighted before. I think data and the technology and how to use the common platform formula to collect all the data and analyze the data is the key for any organization to maintain or to manage the sustainability challenges. So for Cloud for Sustainability, we specifically leverage what our expertise on the technology and on the cloud platform. We produce and design this whole platform with the three key efforts or three key goals here is the records, report, and reduce. I think for any expert in the ESG or in sustainability area, we all know it's very challenging to, from the day one, to collect all the data and then how to manage all different format of the data and then to produce the report. Right now, it's not just for our own company commitment. It's all the government, around the world, all the international organizations, including EU. They all have this carbon tax or carbon different kind of requirement for the environmental protection limitation or regulation rules. So how to produce the report, which is also need to be auditable. The report needs to have a database and also almost real-time data for any organization. If you meet your requirement, either for join the international organization like ISO or to even to import your product into the EU. So only with the very transparent and simultaneous data, with the record and then with the report, and then only with these two prerequisites or base homework, after you can accomplish that, then you can actually take the action to reduce the carbon emission or like the water or other ESG issues or challenges. So these are the three key purpose that, or the key solutions we provided, including we collect very comprehensive data and integrated all this data together and can also have a very automated way and like a dashboard, digital dashboard for the CEO or CIO level can easily tell what's the carbon emission status, current status, and what's the challenge and what's the actual action they can take. And after they take specific action, what's the result that could really reduce the carbon emissions. So that's the key purpose or the real value I think our technology, our cloud for sustainability can provide to all our customer and partners around the world.
Wow. So Vincent, thank you for preparing such a fruitful information, lots of information. And we only have 1 minute left. So I know you also prepare a few different models to help decarbonization. And well, we can go straight forward to your final slide about what's the final words that you want to give to the cloud.
Okay. So these are just two cases I just quickly go through. We probably don't have time, but I'm happy to share some of the cases. They are all startup and all kind of innovative way to achieve the sustainability. So my final, I would say, I wouldn't say it's a suggestion, but I say it's my own observation and my feeling is sustainability is not a noun, it's a verb right now for everybody. Especially for everybody focused on this issue. And our company mission is actually empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. So focus on sustainability, I think this is the statement I personally also pretty like is we are commitment to harness the power of technology to help everyone, everywhere to build a more sustainable future. So in a few words to highlight that, I think for sustainability it's a very tough challenge, but technology can help, especially data science can help. And in that regard, Microsoft can help. So we all work together to try to resolve and provide a more sustainable future for our next generation. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you.
So I know we have a very, very tight schedule. And our next topic from UPS, Sarah, she's on the line. So let's check whether she pop on our projector. So Sarah, dialing in from Singapore, she brought us the topic, moving goods in a carbon neutral world. So while we are checking our IT setting, Sarah is based in Singapore and leads UPS sustainability strategy and programs in Asia Pacific. In her role, she collaborates with internal and external stakeholders to drive sustainable innovation across UPS business operations and value chain to meet UPS ESG goals. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Rosa. Hello, everyone, and happy Earth Day.
So we are checking whether we can pop you onto the TV. Hold on a second. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Rosa.
Yeah, we can see you. So
hello, everyone.
Hand over to you.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here to join you on Earth Day. I'm very honored to join my esteemed speaker to share about a topic that I'm very passionate about. It's on sustainability, and it's also touching on innovation, which I think is a very passionate topic for all of you who are sitting in the audience. So I'd like to share with you what UPS is doing in our business to reduce our carbon emission so that we can help with the climate change problem of the world. So I want to share with you, for UPS, we are one of the largest logistic company, and we have presence in over 220 countries. So with a very large footprint, you can see here, we provide jobs for more than half a billion people, 500,000 employees around the world. And through our moving goods and packages for our customers, we facilitate the global trade of 3% of the global GDP daily. And on an annual basis, we move 6.3 billion packages. So when we look at how we do our business across 220 countries, we have a very big environmental footprint through our air network, which are the aircraft that we own, as well as our ground network. These are our vehicles that we use to deliver the packages for our customers. So the question for us is that, how do we continue to move more goods, more packages for our customers and support the global trade, while at the same time reducing our environmental footprint across our operation? So just like the speaker before me, Microsoft, UPS, we have also set very aggressive environmental as well as social sustainability goals. So for environmental goals, we want to be carbon neutral by 2050. What that means for us is that we want to reduce our carbon emission across our operation to as close to zero. And where we cannot reduce, we will look towards technology like carbon removal to remove whatever carbon emission that we can't reduce in our operation. And we have mapped out a clear roadmap to achieve carbon neutrality. That includes, by 2025, we want our ground operation to be using 40% alternative fuel or technology like electric vehicles, which I will talk a bit more in my later slides, and also looking at our facilities to be using renewable electricity. So that includes 20% by 2025, and comes 2035, we want 100% of our facilities to be on renewable electricity. What is also very important for our business is the aircraft, the fuel that the aircraft that is moving our goods. We need to make sure these fuel are from sustainable sources so that we are reducing the carbon emission from our aviation network. So we want to use 30% sustainable aviation by 2035. And all in all, this effort, we want to reduce 50% of our carbon intensity for every small package that we are moving by 2035. So that is the midpoint for us to reach 2050 carbon neutrality. If we're able to reduce 50% of our carbon intensity by 2035, I think we're on a good track to meet this very aggressive goal. But sustainability for us is not only about the environment, it is about the lives that we impact and the well-being of the community of our employees who we employ and the communities that we serve. So it's also important we continue to support community through our charitable donation. And we want to be encourage management that is diverse in gender as well as in ethical, in race and in nationality, because we believe that having a diverse workforce, having a diverse management team gives us diverse perspective to solve the problems, the social and environmental and the business problems that we have on hand. Volunteerism is also important to us because that's where our employees are personally involved in all the great work that we want to achieve. So we look at 30 million volunteer hours by 2030, and we want to protect the planet by working with NGOs and the community. So we also set ourselves a target to plant 50 million trees by 2030. So how do we envision ourselves being able to achieve our sustainability goals for carbon neutrality? We see sustainable innovation as an engine of this business growth. And what innovation helps us to achieve is that it will improve efficiency for us and therefore better sustainability. And through the use of alternative fuels and advanced technology, which I will share more in my next slide, we will be able to create the business growth that we want. So this is true how we're not only meeting regulations like the carbon tax, like the green bills and the carbon tax that is coming from the other region, but we can also mitigate this risk, enhance our UPS brand relevance with our stakeholders like yourself. And also we think that the sustainability and ESG can help us retain our relationship with our customers and also gain new customers who have the same sustainability agenda. It will help us to engage our employees and retain our employees. And there are other opportunities we can explore using sustainability to gain incentive, including getting grants from the government. So in the next few slides, I'm going to share with you some of the new technology and innovation that UPS has already been testing and also deploying in our air and ground network to help us achieve our sustainability goals. So this is a great example of us reimagining how we're going to do our last mile delivery through using technology like drones. So we first started testing drones to deliver medical supplies to emergency and also remote area in the Africa continent. And that quickly helped us to be able to apply for the very first certificate from US FAA to be able to operate the first drone airline in the US. So we start from 2019 to have a revenue generating drone airlines that you see here. But we continue to innovate because we know that for the medical supplies that we're helping to support with the case of COVID that the world is still facing, we need to make sure more vaccine is reaching to remote communities that may not have access to vaccines. So we look at customizing drone-sized cold chain packaging that you will imagine is very small packaging that still needs to maintain the temperature of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius so that we're able to deliver it at a required temperature control to those who need those vaccines. And we envision the future of aviation to be one that we stop using fossil fuel, but one that runs on electricity. But we know that the technology today doesn't allow airplanes to fly with large electricity batteries. So we are committed to help test these kind of new technology, which is why last year we committed to buying 10 of these electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. They are smaller aircraft that can fly short distance, but really to test, the application of electricity on aircraft. And we do this together with a startup in US called Beta Technologies. So we are due to receive this small aircraft by 2024. That is where we will test in our air network to transport time-sensitive delivery to healthcare producers as well as small, medium businesses in smaller communities. Then while technology continues to evolve, we know that it may take decades before our aircraft, the large aircraft, will be able to run on electricity. So it is also important for us now to look at bridging solutions. So while we continue to use fuel, we want to make sure that these fuels are increasingly coming from sustainable sources. So this is a good example of sustainable aviation fuel that is made from renewable biomass and waste resources. And the current technology allows it to be dropped in, blend with jet fuel and dropped into our aircraft. And it can help to reduce up to 80% of the greenhouse gas emission. And UPS has set a goal to use 30% of sustainable aviation fuel by 2035. Now, on the ground, the vehicles that we are using to deliver the packages for our customers is also one area that we'll be innovating and looking at testing new technology. And this is an example that we invest in a startup called Arrival. So Arrival is an electric vehicle manufacturer, but what differentiates them from the other electric vehicles manufacturer is that we are able to do custom-made, purpose-built electric vehicles that is made to the requirement of UPS operation. So it's enabled with state-of-the-art technology to ensure that we have better safety and driving requirements. And it's made with materials that are designed to be reused and recycled many times, so it's not a single-use material. Ongoing, we are testing it with Arrival on these new electric vehicles in our operation in United Kingdom, and we hope to have a production unit running in operation in other parts of the world by the end of this year. While we know that with electrification of vehicles, the larger vehicles right now, the technology doesn't allow it to run on electricity because of the long distance they need to cover. We again look towards bridging solutions that can help us reduce our carbon emission, and that includes using renewable natural gas. And these gas are derived from feedstock waste, wastewater, or even food waste. And in the US, we have the largest renewable natural gas and compressed natural gas fleet. I also want to share with you another innovation that we have around 30 cities in our UPS business. That looks into how we do our last mile delivery, not only relying on vehicles, which we are moving towards electric vehicles, but also looking at the possibilities of drones, robots for last mile delivery that we have shared on the drones. And I'll talk about robots in a few slides later. But also having electric bicycle, which has zero tailpipe emission, and it allows us to have better access into cities that are congested, and with increased regulation around limiting the number of cars and vehicles going into some of these congested cities, especially in Asia Pacific. We're seeing a lot of the cities with population growth, with congestion and pollution. We're trying to reduce the number of vehicles or large vehicles in the cities. These bikes, electric assisted bikes, offers us the kind of city logistics solution to resolve the congestion issue. At the same time, we are more efficient at it helps to reduce our overall carbon emission. In the next two slides, I do want to introduce you to UPS latest venture into innovation. End of last year, in December, we opened our Asia Pacific Innovation Center in Singapore. And this is really our launchpad to help our partners and customers to start accelerating their digital adoption. So we work with technology partners to incubate, test, and deploy new technology that we can then deploy in our operation as well as with our customer supply chain to help them to optimize their supply chain. So interestingly, we call this innovation center APIC, which is very similar to the AIC. So I feel that we are like a bit of a cousin here. And I want to share with you some of the exciting technology and digital solution that is already been tested and deployed through this center. I'll open it up to all of you when the world is a safer place. If you ever get a chance to visit Singapore and would like to take a look at our Asia Pacific Innovation Center, we do run tours on a monthly basis 2 times every month. So we welcome you if you'd like to visit our center, because at the center, you will get a chance to see how we test this new technology, and we will mock up a real warehouse environment where we will deploy, combine different technology, like the first example you see on the left, which is a robot. We pair it together with what we call the RFID scanner to be moving the packages that you see here, but through the RFID scanner, they're able to do a 3D scanning and recognize what are these packages without someone physically moving the packages and scanning the packages one by one. So these types of technology, when they combine together, is able to help reduce the turnaround time in warehouse, improve efficiency, and also the accuracy of us moving the packages for our customers. And when we test bait all these new technology, we also think about how we help our customers better optimize their supply chain. And we use platforms like the supply chain Symphony that you can see here. There's a screen of how it's done. It's a near lifetime end-to-end visibility of the supply chain performance of our customers. So they know how their packages are being moved around the world. You know, what is the distance that has been traveled? Where are the warehousing facilities, and help them better plan how they want to move their supply chain. And the last example is the telepresence robot that we have on site at the center, because we know that due to the COVID, there may be many interests to want to collaborate with the center, but these partners are not able to be physically at the center. So having a robot to help us do a virtual tour and also to arrange meetings for us so that we can still collaborate remotely over the virtual world.
Thank you, Sarah. We only have 1 minute left, but I do want the audience can see your beautiful face. Can you stop sharing slides? And I want to introduce you our AIT Cultural Affairs Officer. Look, wave your hand. Can you see us? Hi. So,
hi.
Right, great. Because sorry, at the very beginning we encountered some IT issue, but now we can see you clearly. And the last final question, could you give us a final words to encourage us who are on the road, who are still taking wait and see mode? So, any final words for them?
Yeah, what I would like to share is that quite often when we think about investment into innovation, new technology, you think about the return of investment. You think about the investment that you have to make today. And yes, we understand it's a hefty investment. But let's also ask ourselves about the cost of not doing it now. And we know in the previous speakers, I also spoke about climate change is the greatest challenge of our time. And if we don't do these kind of sustainable innovation now to help us reduce our carbon emission over time, we're going to pay a higher price with the extreme weather events, with the climate change risk that we're going to face. And it's not just an environmental problem, it is a social problem. It's going to affect lives, it's going to destroy homes, and it's also an economic problem because it means that it will disrupt businesses and commerce. So really, when we are looking at why we are not doing it now, we need to ask the question of what is the cost of not doing it now?
Thank you, perfect. Thank you, Sarah. We have tight schedule. We are moving to our next session. But I really like when you say UPS APIC is a cousin of AIC. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good afternoon. Bye.
So we will have 2 to 3 minutes for our next session for our speaker to dialing in. So while our IT is doing their setup, I would like to ask the audience, or Vincent, so I know you prepare a lot of sharing, but we don't give you enough time. So could you give us more about the different model to help the decarbonization? You have 2 minutes. Oh, yes.
Online?
For Vincent.
Yeah. Maybe I just quickly share, I think, maybe just like what UPS did, I think the technology can bring a lot of new innovative ideas. So one example I can share is we have partnered with one of the startup company to create a new banking environment, banking experiences actually. It's an app built on the either the multiple platform could also install the app, and the app actually collect all the data and store in our cloud. And then they could create a very innovative way to attract for younger people, younger generation, especially like millennial generations. They could provide their own creative idea to post, more like a sharing idea, and to see, for example, like any dollars they charge to the credit card to the banking startup company, then that specific dollar could reinvest or could create how much impact to the environment to reinvest into the innovation investment or other innovation programs. And second example I see is also more like a sharing, like a social media innovation idea. They could compete with their friends or other their college sharing the same app. They could compete with each other. How much carbon you can reduce by maybe not driving, but taking the public transportation, taking the MRT, or even cycling. Then you could do the compete on that app, and that app can, in return, also reinvest to earn more points for them to do the more banking benefit they could enjoy. So this is just one example of the new innovation and leverage the current technology, but with a more close to life innovation that could really bring innovation bring the sustainability into our daily life.
Also adding some gaming element.
Yeah.
Very fun. So is Jonathan online? No? Okay, so we can talk more. So look, any question for Vincent?
Well, I like this idea of the banking. That's interesting. There has to be some kind of incentive, I think, for people to participate sometimes, rather than ideas and just intentions. And I think that's where we're moving beyond intentions. This whole idea of global warming and limiting, the 1.5 degrees Celsius increase doesn't happen out of good intention, but actions themselves. So, I think we're seeing companies like Microsoft, et cetera, do these tangible investments. I think even one of your slides, you said not intentions, but investments now, this idea that we're putting behind. What do you see for the future as far as being able to convince people to change very kind of ingrained behaviors that we have? How can we do that? How can we influence people to change?
Well, I think Jonathan is very online, so
right. We can leave that for our networking session. Thank you both. Okay, Jonathan is online. So we have Jonathan dialing from Hong Kong, bring us new approaches in investing and finance for sustainability. Hi, Jonathan. Can you hear us?
Hi, Rosa.
Hi. So could you start with give us a short intro about yourself and then take it away?
Yes, sure, certainly. Good afternoon.
Hey, Jonathan. Hold a second, please. Can you hear me? No. Yes. Hi, Jonathan. Hello. Are you still there? He's there, but just not. He cannot hear me.
He's not on mute, right?
Hello, Jonathan. Can you test? Can you say something? Can you hear me? Hello? Who is using? Okay. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Rosa. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay, great. Awesome. You're back. So we need to start from your awesome introduction again, but we didn't hear that part.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, Rosa. And thank you, everyone. Thank you to the organizer and for the host for the invitation. Very excited to join this forum today. My name is Jonathan Ho. I'm the sustainability specialist for Allianz Global Investors in the Asia Pacific region. And as the theme of the forum today is innovation, my sharing today will revolve around the innovation and new approaches in investing and finance for sustainability. Rosa, should I continue with my presentation?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So just a very quick introduction about Allianz Global Investors. We are an active asset manager with more than 670 billion euros under asset management, and about more than 300 billion euros of that is ESG assets. So that is just a very quick introduction about Allianz Global Investors. And as I mentioned today, I will be sharing with you about the drivers of sustainable investing, and then the new approaches in sustainability strategy, sustainable products, and also in sustainability tools. So to set the context and to set the scene, drivers of sustainable investing. I'm pretty sure that many of us have seen this picture many times and are quite familiar with the sustainable development goals. This essentially is a global blueprint where us as a global community will really need to work towards to build a equitable and sustainable future for all. And the OECD, they actually identified that there is a 2.5 trillion US dollars of financing gap annually for us to reach the sustainable development goals. So that tells us that we really need to dedicate more resources, more efforts to work towards these global goals. And these goals cover access to education, access to electricity, protecting our ecosystem services, so on and so forth. And these are all critical. And for the finance and the investment industry, what that tells us is we need to align our mission with the Sustainable Development Goals as well, and to fill this $2.5 trillion in financing gap. So the moral imperative is there. We need to contribute to these global goals. But this ethical and moral imperative aside, within the investing industry itself, we already see a number of different drivers driving and pushing for sustainable investing. So on one hand, we see there are increasing policies and regulations, driving the industry to be more focused on ESG. We see that from clients and customer demand, there is growing awareness for ESG as well. Some would say that the COVID-19 pandemic actually accelerated the interest in ESG because it really uncovered some of our weaknesses in our society and economy in terms of how we're doing in the social aspects in our society. Fiduciary duty. Traditionally, the interpretation of fiduciary duty is that an asset manager has to generate as much profits as possible for the client. But a modern day definition of fiduciary duty actually has a broader meaning. It actually begins to encompass that asset managers like ourselves, we need to also consider long-term issues and, for example, sustainability issues to ensure the long-term success of our investments and also the long-term success of our clients. And finally, financial performance. We're seeing from some academic research that suggests that ESG actually helps, or at least there is a correlation with ESG and financial performance as well. So it is with this context, right, the need to contribute to global goals, but also these different drivers within the industry that I'm sharing with you today, how we as Allianz Global Investors are approaching and innovating to be consistent with this global trend of sustainability. So firstly, I'll share a little bit about our strategy. We began our sustainability journey in 1999, so more than 20 years ago, when we first developed our SRI strategy. And then since then, moving forward in 2007, we were the first 50 asset managers to sign the UN Principles for Responsible Investing. Today, there are more than 4,000 signatories of the UN PRI. So, we were one of the first to sign on to this before it was mainstream. And moving forward and fast forward to this moment today, we consistently score A+ in the UN PRI rating. We're joining various industry engagement and collaborative initiatives to promote sustainability. And I also shared that more than 300 billion euros of our assets are ESG assets, in fact. So I just want to show you from this slide, from this picture, that whether it is from a personnel and human resources and hiring strategy, you'll see that we have more than 35 sustainability professionals within our firm. So whether it's a hiring strategy, whether it's a engagement and participation in international initiatives, whether it's aligning our investment and our products, sustainability has really begun to be integrated into every part of our company. And just to be a little bit more specific, within the sustainability space, we don't want to just be a passive player. We want to be an active player to proactively contribute to issues to proactively provide solutions. And therefore, internally within our company, we have identified these 3 pivotal themes within sustainability: climate change, planetary boundaries, and this includes biodiversity, the use of resources, and then thirdly, inclusive capitalism. So this encompasses the social aspects within sustainability. And we see that these 3 themes, climate, planetary boundaries, and inclusive capitalism, are really the issues of the future. As I said, we want to proactively be a provider of solutions to these issues of the future. So what this means for us is within our strategizing, whether it's our research, whether it is our thought leadership, whether it is the development and continued innovation of our products, it will revolve around these themes because we want to be a provider of sustainability solutions moving forward. And a very key part of our strategy is also our ambition for net zero. You'll see on this slide here that our group, at the group level, Allianz is a founding member of the Net Zero Asset Owner Alliance. And for Allianz Global Investors, we are also a Net Zero Asset Manager Initiative member. So what this means is we're committed to the goal of reaching net zero emissions by mid-century. So obviously, this is a very long-term and strategic direction that we have publicly committed towards. And what this means for us in terms of action is, listed on the right-hand side. So we're setting our strategy and disclosures according to the TCFD framework, which is the Task Force for Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. We're measuring and disclosing carbon footprint at the firm level. Very soon, in a few weeks' time, I'm excited to share that we will be announcing our interim decarbonization target as part of this net zero strategy. We have also developed a capability to measure our carbon footprints at the fund level, and we will continue to innovate in our sustainable investing methodologies so that we can reach this net zero goal ultimately. So that is very briefly, some of the new approaches within our strategy. And now, going to our actual products and our actual investing. So how have we been integrating sustainability into our ways of investing? We do that via a number of layers. So, we have a multi-layer approach to ESG incorporation. So at one level, we have a layer of exclusions, and that is where we exclude the most controversial and high-risk assets, which we view is not consistent with a sustainable future. So that is the fundamental layer to begin with. And then at the second layer, we have a layer of ESG risk assessments. For all of our assets under management, it has to go through a process of ESG risk assessment. And then our third layer is where we proactively integrate sustainability objectives and characteristics into our products. So this is done via different methodologies, whether it's integrated ESG, SRI best in class, a KPIs approach, a alignment to the Sustainable Development Goals, so on and so forth. And then lastly, we have a layer of active ownership. So this is just to see, just to give you a taste of how we have developed our ESG incorporation approach. And this has been developed over time. And so it also goes to show that over time, we have been innovating and to build this robust framework of sustainability integration. Just very, very quickly, a case study, which I think is a very good example to show the innovation within the sustainable finance space. We see increasingly a diversity in sustainable bonds. We see green bonds, social bonds, sustainability bond, blue bond transition, sustainability linked, you name it. And this is all very exciting, right? Each of these instruments contribute to different sustainability objectives. And personally, this is an area of interest of mine because in a former life of mine, I was also in a role where I was structuring these different sustainable bonds. But today, now, as Allianz Global Investors, our role now today is, while we welcome the innovation that we see in the fixed income space, we also want to make clear our expectations as asset managers and as investors, our expectations as to the sustainability, integrity, and the sustainability credentials of each of these instruments. And lastly, as part of our product level innovation is our active ownership philosophy. This, as you will know, is one of our layers of ESG integration. And this active ownership philosophy is carried out via engagement and via proxy voting. And I'm very pleased to share with you that we have integrated sustainability holistically into our engagement approach and into our proxy voting approach. So this is all documented in our stewardship statement, into our global corporate governance guidelines, for example. And I just want to emphasize the importance of stewardship because other approaches of sustainability integration is more about stock selection, how you assess different investment opportunities. So it's a pre-investment sustainability integration. But when we're talking about stewardship here, it's a post-investment sustainability integration. So it's after we have invested into a company. How do we partner with a company to influence them, to encourage them, and to partner with them to ensure that in the long term, they are consistent with the sustainable development direction of travel. So this brings me to the final section of new approaches in some of the tools that we're using for sustainability. So this tool here is an ESG risk assessment tool where all of our portfolio managers have access to this tool to view the ESG characteristics, the ESG risks, and also, for example, the carbon footprint of their portfolio. So this is a tool that we have rolled out to all of our assets under management and accessible to all of our portfolio managers. And the idea here is really to empower and enable and to to push forward this ESG integration, this ESG consideration in all the work that we do within investing. Another tool that I'd like to share with you is we have developed a capability for climate change scenario analysis. So this is a tool where we analyze the potential scenarios given climate change. We analyze the potential risks and the shocks, and then we analyze what are the potential financial impacts that could be brought upon us from climate change. So this capability is managed out of our risk function, and it regularly monitors the climate risk within our portfolios. So this is a capability which we have recently developed and we're proud to share with you today. So I have shared with you, our new approaches in strategy and our products and the tools, for sustainability. So I'll just leave with you a few parting thoughts. First of all, ESG is financially material to business and finance. So the Friedman Doctrine, which states that the social responsibility of business is just to generate profits, I think that is completely debunked in this day and age. ESG is financially material. And with this context of the urgency of sustainable development, new strategies, products, and tools are required for businesses including ours, to align with sustainable development. And lastly, necessity is the mother of innovation. So we will expect continued innovation in the investing and financing space in order to align ourselves with the imperative of sustainable development. So that brings me to the end of my very brief presentation. Thank you very much. And back to you, Rosa.
Thank you, Jonathan. Could you please stop sharing slides and all the audience can see you? Hi.
Hi.
So, I know we don't have much time left, so I will just wrap up with one question. So from your standpoint, why it is important for the companies to consider to be sustainable?
Thank you, Rosa. Well, I think we can look at it from a few perspectives. So first of all, investors' expectations. So as a corporate, as a company, if you would like to attract investor interest, I think sustainability is really one of the key requirements that we're looking at from an asset manager and investor's perspective. So this is one area. Another dimension is to manage risk and to build resilience. The whole world is transitioning to a new paradigm for sustainable development. So if you perform well in E, S, and G, you are probably better off in terms of mitigating risks. And the third point that I would like to share is to capture new opportunities. I mentioned, again, the whole world is transitioning to a new era of sustainable development. So there will be new client and customer preferences, new preferences and expectations from investors. And there will be a demand for new sustainable products and services as well. So ESG will help you, in all these three areas.
Wonderful, 3 points. Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for your time. Thank you for dialing from Hong Kong. So we traveled from Taiwan to Singapore and Hong Kong, now back to Taiwan. Bye, Jonathan. So our final session, we invited Cindy Lin from Fubon Financial Holdings. She's the EVP and also the Director of Corporate Communications. So first of all, we will start from the 2-minute video to unveil this session.
"很美吧，这颗蓝色、绿色的星球。但都市化、工业污染、过多的碳排放，造成全球暖化、气候变迁，甚至生态浩劫。是时候做出改变了。减碳救地球，就从种下一棵树开始。据联合国种树计划估算，一棵树每年平均可吸存12公斤的二氧化碳。这也是为什么富邦推动 Run for Green。 结合马拉松赛事为地球种树，为了让更多人参与，我们与台湾最具有影响力的4大马拉松合作，推动绿色赛事转型，希望成为运动产业绿化的领跑者。但 Run for Green 不只是绿色赛事，更是宣告企业与众人追求永续的主张。首先，富邦金控从自身企业做起，2020年共约节省661494度电。 接近一座大安森林公园的碳吸附量。2021年，在富邦60周年庆祝的同时，我们拟定全新 ESG、低碳、数位、激励与影响4大策略主轴，呼吁更多企业、团体、民众一同重视永续议题。在金融核心职能上，富邦金控以绿色金融的力量来带动转型，除不再新增高污染产业投融资外， 积极运用投资、融资、创新产品、承销等方式，协助产业绿色转型，加速奔向绿色。地球只有一个，而台湾更是我们安身立命之地。因此，我们携手地方政府，共同倡议减碳愿景，朝2050净零台湾的目标全力冲刺。Run for Green， 奔向绿色已经起跑。 邀请您加入改变的行列，还给地球蓝天和绿地，让永续的每一步都算数。
正向力量，成就可能。富邦金控。 在富邦60周年庆祝的同时，我们拟定全新 ESG、低碳、数位、激励与影响4大策略主轴，呼吁更多企业、团体、民众一同重视永续议题。在金融核心职能上，富邦金控以绿色金融的力量来带动转型，除不再新增高污染产业投融资外，积极运用投资、融资、创新产品、承销等方式，协助产业绿色转型，加速奔向绿色。地球只有一个，而台湾更是我们安身立命之地。因此，我们携手地方政府，共同倡议减碳跃进，朝2050近邻台湾的目标全力冲刺。Run for Green， 奔向绿色已经起跑，邀请您加入改变的行列，还给地球蓝天和绿地，让永续的每一步都算数。正向力量，成就可能。富邦金控。
Hi, Cindy. It's
Hi.
lovely to meet you in person because we had a virtual talk earlier
Yes,
this
yes.
week. So could you give us a short intro about you and what's Fubang sustainability strategy?
Okay, my name is Cindy, and I'm very glad to be here. It's my honor to share with everybody here our stories on ESG. And I just realized that Fubang is the only Taiwanese company invited in this forum, so how lucky we are. And I joined Fubang actually 2 and 5 years ago, and before that I was working in various industry in marketing field, and now I oversee Fubang's branding and the media relationships and corporate sustainability altogether. So, and I help Fubang to set up 2025 ESG goals and also initiate the Run for Green program, the video you just see last year, because last year was our 60 years anniversary in Taiwan.
Great. So I think when Cindy mentioned Fubang is a local firm, it's a local company, and so could you give us a fresh perspective instead of B2B, but a B2C perspective, and to give us more stories, introduction about what's the Run for Green program?
Sure. Okay, so before I go
can
into
start
detail for the Run for Green program, I would like to start with our corporate sustainability strategy, and this is our integrated framework. So centered our company proposition, which is positivity, and then with this we aim to use positive attitude to treat our employee and treat our customer, and then to bring the positive energy to the society and to the world to make the world a better place. Then we connect with our different functions, including financial holdings, ourselves, and our subsidiaries like our life insurance company, security company, banking company, asset management company, as well as we have 4 charity foundations in the group, all together to achieve the SDG goals, and then bring 9 commitments to Taiwan as well as the market we operate. And as an example, last year we have input more than 12 billion resources into all the ESG programs, and then output more than 6 trillion values to all our stakeholders in Taiwan and in the market we operate. As I said earlier, last year was our 6th year's anniversary, so we want to enhance or we want to further strengthen our ESG capabilities in Taiwan. Therefore, we revamp our ESG framework from 6 strategies into 4 strategies, leading by the decarbonization strategy. And what is our decarbonization strategy? Is what we want to use our financial capability to help our customers to go sustainable. And the second is digitalization. We would like to develop a lot of digital services to streamline the process as well as to bring the best financial services and customer experience to all our people here. And then for the internal one is empowerment. We want to build up a friendly and healthy workplace for our employees in Taiwan as well as in Asia, so that we can provide them a better place to work. Lastly is connection. We have 4 foundations, and we have our BUs. We have a lot of programs centered charity programs that brings, we want to connect the society, the positive forces, use our positive energy and our resources to make a better place for them to live.
So I know the Run for Green is under the decarbonization.
Yes,
right.
Because we know that net zero is a burning issue. So not only Taiwan want to go net zero, but also the whole world will go net zero. So decarbonization is one of the most strategy under our fourth strategy in our ESG visionary projects. So we build up Run for Green framework with a lot of marketing effort to promote the concept, as well as we want to bring our resources, put into our resources to help both financial and non-financial side to go green. For example, in the financial side, we would like to use our resources to accelerate green finance activities, and also to build risk management expertise in our firm. And we also announced that we are going to phase out the financing for coal power, petrol sectors, so that we can reduce those our harmful industries investments around the world. And for the non-financial side, in fact, we are the largest sponsor for the key marathon races in Taiwan. So we would like to use this platform to help sports sector to go green. And then we are committed to plant 100,000 trees in 5 years for the runners. And we would like to adapt the United Nations climate for sport for climate actions in Taiwan, so that we can build up a greener places for all our athletes and audience in Taiwan. And in operation side, we are committed to reduce the impact of our operations, including the scope 1 and scope 2, so that also we will bring in scientific-based target management system, as well as we will use TCFD framework to measure the risk and to manage the risk, so that we can strictly control the carbon footprint that we emit.
Great. So
here are some achievements so far. I won't go too detailed, but these are because finance is our core business. So we invest a lot. We put a lot of effort behind in sustainability investment. So we invest in renewable energy and green tech, and also support the clean energy industry in Taiwan. And also we develop responsible products. We are the only fund house offer both active and passive sustainability-related funds. And also we are the largest green insurer in Taiwan. So we are the biggest investor for green energy projects, including offshore wind power field, and also the solar power field in Taiwan. And lastly, we are also the Taiwanese first sustainability-linked loan bank that offer this kind of product in Taiwan. So we believe that by helping our local company to provide this kind of sustainability-linked loan, will encourage them to set up clear decarbonization goals, and then our financial capability will help them to achieve their carbon emission transition plan. And this is the non-financial part, which is the tree planting plans that we have starting last year. And as I said earlier, we are the key marathon sponsor. In Taiwan, we sponsor Tianzhong Marathon, Taipei Marathon, Kaohsiung Marathon, and also the New Taipei City Wanjingshi Marathon. So every year it will attract more than 80,000 runners, and a lot of audience will see the race. So we believe this is a very good marketing platforms to reach out the consumer in Taiwan, as well as to encourage the behavior change, and also enhance the awareness of the net zero importance to all the people in Taiwan. And we already engage with all the government officials locally, because we build the tree ourselves, and we have to talk to them, engage with them. And we are very happy that all the city governments are very happy co-work with us because we have the same goal, which is net zero toward 2050. To further enhance the social impact, we also conduct green finance forums to talk about the TCFD and other financial disclosure importance and the progress in Taiwan. As well as we will document all the programs and tree planting programs so that we can further educate people what is the importance of the eco-friendly initiatives. Also, we co-work with the local NPOs to have on-site charity programs so that we can engage as many stakeholders as possible during this process.
Great.
Okay, lastly, I would like to highlight is those trees, the seed of the tree are well selected. We will select all the native seeds for each different size because that is the only way that we can ensure that the sustainability and also the tree is will be growing here sustainably as well as doing good for those environment. So now, as of today, we have planted 66,000 trees in 7 locations, and including 6 cities or counties. Okay. Okay, and we are very happy that during this process, a lot of partners, they also agree with our initiatives. For example, the Taipei Marathon was the world's first marathon received BSI carbon footprint verifications, and then they are committed to reduce 3% carbon emission during the races every year. Although 3% is not a huge number, however, it's a very good start. And also, Taipei Marathon is one of the key marathons in Taiwan, and I believe that this will also bring a very high impact for the entire marathon race industry. And the other evidence that we receive positive support is from the CBPL, which is the Chinese Professional Baseball League, because people might know that we also run professional baseball and basketball teams in Taiwan, and the CBPL is also very keen to adapt sports for climate action framework. And in fact, tomorrow we are going to kick off a new campaign with CBPL.
Right, and really like when you mentioned this is the world's first marathon received the BSI carbon footprint verification. So could you elaborate more how this verification actually bring impact?
Okay, maybe you know that Guofahui has announced its net zero pathway to 2050 last month, end of March, and there are 4 strategies that they would like to proceed because we have to do all the 4 strategies in order to achieve the net zero goals, which are industry transition, energy transition, lifestyle transition, and social transition. So that means that not only just industry or the energy has to transit to another level, but also people's behavior has to change. Therefore, we have to use not just finance resources, but also our marketing capability and also our sponsored platform to reach out all the people in Taiwan. So because that's the only way to continue dialogue with this society, but also that's the only way to drive behavioral change from our people.
Right, so for the carbon footprint verification, you also monitor how the runners get to the venue.
All the activities that conduct before, during, and after the campaign that related to the race.
Wow. Does that also mean a lot of sensors need to implement it?
A lot of data has to collect it.
Right. Great. Okay, so lastly, today I know Cindy is going to bring us a good news about Fubon Earth Day, and you set up certain global team. So could you give us this?
Yes.
And this is invitation-only news to all of us.
Because net zero is very important, so I have an invitation.
Whoa.
Okay, so I'm very glad to share that our Run for Green program will move to another stage, next level tonight, because today is Earth Day, and we are going to unite our athletes and our professional teams to form a big team called Team Earth today. And the program will be debuted tonight in our Xinzhuang baseball stadium with kickoff by the special guest, which is one of our baseball star, Mr. Shen Jingfeng. And the program will aim to encourage our people in Taiwan to take a small step, to take a small change, because we would like to tell people that don't estimate every step or every small change, because those changes is the only way to help to save the earth. And I am very sincere, invite you to join us tonight in our Xinzhuang baseball stadium and to do all the changes with Fubang.
Right, I really like the idea when Fubang leverage those basketball or the sports star using their charisma and attract the audience, right? The players, and then to pay attention to Team Earth. So pay attention to our Earth Day and care more about our sustainability issue. Great, so I hope all of you enjoy as much as I do. Now we will move on to our networking session. And thank you, Cindy, and then we will have our group photo first, right? Right, so we will have Luke to give us some final words. I know we encountered some IT issue today, but bear with us, and Luke, the stage is yours.
Should I sit down or stand up? I'll stand up.
Yeah.
So I thought one thing I would point out is this cool design that we're in here. It kind of feels like we're in a fishbowl. If you see the numbers that are on there, 162 centimeters, 54, and 32, these are different predictions on what sea level could rise depending on the increase in the climate temperature themselves. I think for those of you that are under 162 centimeters tall, which is a number of the women here, you'd have a hard time breathing in that. And actually with that 162 centimeters, that worst case scenario, some beautiful cities, Shanghai, Jakarta, Miami, parts of London, gone totally. Taipei's lucky we're a little bit higher, so I think we would survive here. But it's this real concrete reminder that this isn't just theoretical conversation about things we can do to be better people, but it's really about this intensity of why the change is necessary from everything from the financial insurance sector to technology and onward. All of these have this really significant impact on concrete, reasonable things like the very terrifying rise of the ocean as well. So I'm grateful for everybody that came today and for this kind of continuation of discussions as well. I think we're going to do some photos, right?
Right.
Is that right?
So let's invite Vincent and Cindy. We get on the stage.
Which way are we taking photos? This way? This way? Where's the camera?
Yeah.
And I hope everybody liked the fireside chat.
Right.
Yeah. A very American kind of thing. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With everybody? Yeah, that would be nice. If
we turn.
Kind of go.
We can have them
like these.
Yeah. Yes, that would be great.
Or do they sit here? Okay.
Yeah, we take this.
Right.
Can I have the John Kerry one? I love that.
Sure.
It's a big one, but I think it's like, I love John Kerry, so. Thank you. Does anybody want an AIC one to carry? Okay, thanks. Shall we stand or sit?
就是你 AIT.
Yeah, which camera is this?
You want to sit or stand? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
please
listen
stand.
to
Yeah,
our
thanks so
photographer. One more to sit down or no? Okay. AIC, go! Thank you.
Thanks,
So today we start at 2:05, and I prepare a small, not joke, but just a kind of asking you guys what's Techstars headquarters, because we prepare a few gifts. So it's networking time. People, we can be relaxing, stand up and talk. So we also prepare a gift for Luke. That's a recent published book.
Wow.
Travel from the US. So for you.
Thank you.
And our marketing manager would like to take a photo for you.
Ooh.
We can say here. I also prepared one book for each of our speakers. Thank you. Thank you. So Startup Community Way, many people thought Techstars is one of the largest early stage investment accelerator. So where is our headquarters? Silicon Valley or New York?
Maybe.
Maybe. So the answer is, well, I already told you.
I know the answer.
The answer is Boulder. So where Boulder is, if you look up Google, TripAdvisor will tell you it's a main street between mountains and reality. So it only got one main street. Have you ever been to Boulder?
I have been to Boulder. I love Boulder.
Oh,
It's a
great.
beautiful city. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So our three co-founders, they wrote this book. They want to build Boulder a pleasant city, attract all the entrepreneurs to Boulder. So they believe great ideas can come from anywhere instead of pulling all the resources to New York, Silicon Valley. So each city need to define their own future. So
agree.
startup community.
Thank you.
Then check online that how many unicorns from Boulder now.
Oh. How
More
many?
than 10.
Really?
Whoa.
Yes.
That's
So
great.
it's not Boulder, it's not just Denver, it's not just Colorado, it's only small city from Boulder. We have already created more than 10 unicorns and
Wow.
more to come. And today we also mentioned a drones from UPS. So actually from Techstars Accelerator, we have Zipline. It's they are deliver drugs to Africa using drones.
Wow.
Right. So we can just talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Networking time.
Yes.
Thank you.